Today we're really a full-service site preparation public works contractor. We do anything from our original utility work, sewer and water, all the way to full site work, which will include the grading work, the utilities, of course, site concrete, parking lots, roads, everything. We try to bring a value to our customers on a full package and a comprehensive package. So we grew up in a culture of waste not, want not, and that's just a family value, and it's a value that I think we've transferred to the company, and we have that culture around here and trying to do things without being wasteful. So every time we can recycle a truckload of material, that makes a big difference to keeping our industry, the construction industry, sustainable. And that goes back to everything that happens at the quarry. Every pound we recycle there is a pound of material that doesn't come out of that hole, and eventually that hole will be exhausted. And when that's exhausted, a new quarry will have to be opened up somewhere. The longer we can maintain a resource, the longer we can squeeze out, not using any more of that aggregate than we need to, the more we can recycle, the more we're sustaining our construction practices. And we're pretty strong believers in that. One thing we started quite a while ago was looking at our fuel consumption. And in construction we burn massive amounts of fuel. And we tried to look at ways we can cut down on that. Certainly one of those is through the engine upgrades. We can upgrade equipment with more efficient engines that certainly pollute less, but they also burn a lot less fuel. But another way we can do that is to match the machine to the job, where we can take a 70,000 pound excavator that can do the work. It's not as fun as running a 100,000 pound excavator. It might not be quite the brute force, but it does it just fine, and it might be burning 7 gallons an hour instead of 12 gallons an hour. That's a pretty big savings. When you look at just with that one machine, we can save 40, 50 gallons a day. Multiply that times, maybe that machine might work 200 days in a year if it's a mainline machine. Well, we are all of a sudden we're saving thousands of gallons of fuel on one machine. If you take that over the whole fleet, you can have a lot of fuel savings doing that. And that just makes sense. DNR has a program, a green tier program, which is really a collaboration between the regulatory agencies and the business community out here, and they try to come up with innovative ways to be more sustainable, to be more efficient in what you do. And for the particular charter that we're a member of, it's the Green Tier Clearwater Initiative Charter. Their mission, the main mission, is to reduce the delivery of nutrients and sediments to the lakes, watersheds, streams, wetlands. What happens is all the sediment that flows through all the storm sewers going throughout Madison eventually get to the lakes, right? And when it gets to the lakes, now all the sediment is right in the harbor. One thing we started looking at just through open discussions at the Green Tier meetings was the state of existing inlet protection. What we did is we made substantial modifications in not only the way it's built, but the construction up above. We catch an extra 50, 100 pounds of sediment in each one of these filters. Well, there are thousands of these filters installed statewide every year. So now you're talking about hundreds of thousands of pounds of sediment that are not getting to the lakes and waterways. And that's a big deal. Because now instead of pulling out a fairly light filter with a little bit of sediment in it, we're pulling out filters that were probably weighing 300 pounds or more. So it got very difficult for removal. So we had to rethink the removal techniques too. But I think that's a great thing. After all, we're trying to catch sediment. So if at the end of the day our problem is we're catching a lot more sediment, that's a great problem to have.
The future for Homburg is extremely exciting. We are excited to utilize our mobile crusher to reduce or increase recycling on the sites that we're working on and decrease the amount of trucking that we have on and off of projects, as well as decrease the amount of virgin aggregate that we're using on new projects. We take a lot of pride in being environmental leaders and innovators, and we look forward to sharing these with our customers on their projects.